This video was made possible by the EA Creator Network. What's up everyone, my name is Marie, welcome to my channel and welcome to another speed build. So for today's video I am sharing a build that I am very excited about because I'm working on typical Dutch row houses. If you're new here, if you don't know me, hello, it's nice to meet you. My name is Marie and I am a simmer from the Netherlands. So I live in the Netherlands and maybe you are Dutch or maybe you're familiar with the Netherlands, but if that's the case, then you'll know that row houses, otherwise known to a lot of people as townhouses, but we call them row houses over here, are very similar. You'll find them in literally every single city or village. They are literally everywhere. I feel like it's the most common type of house here in the country. And I also live in one, except my living situation is a bit different where the house where I'm living was split into a ground floor apartment and a second floor apartment. So basically I live on the second floor of a row house, but it is a row house technically. So yes, we're currently in one and they are very familiar here or common here in Netherlands. And as soon as I knew that For Rent was going to come out, as soon as they announced this pack, I was like, I have to do Dutch row houses. I did do a row houses build years ago. I think this was in 2020 or maybe even before. Maybe it was in 2019 or something. It was years ago. I actually did these Dutch row houses before on my channel. They're very old videos. And I knew from the get-go that as soon as the pack was announced, the For Rent pack was announced, I had to redo it. I had to do a second version because with the For Rent expansion pack, which is coming out tomorrow on December 7th, I think that's tomorrow, right? Yes, that's tomorrow. I think I'm on track here. Yeah, you'll be actually able to use these as separate units. So I am extremely excited about that. They're actually going to be functional. I remember building those row houses for the first time and I had a lot of fun with it. And it was literally my dream to have them be functional in a way that they will now be functional as separate units for separate households each, which to me is extremely exciting, and I'm very happy that I'll be actually able to use them, and so will you if you end up buying The Sims for rent, of course. Just a quick side note, if you are interested in buying The Sims for rent or any other expansion pack, EA has very generously given me an affiliate code, which is an exclusive opportunity to support me as a content creator. You can use code SimmarySims at checkout. That will contribute a 5% share of your purchase to support me as a creator. So please note that this is not a discount code. It is simply a way for me to make a small commission. This affiliate code is applicable to all your The Sims 4 purchases on the EA desktop or on thesims.com, and it only works for PC versions of the game. You can use it for all your The Sims 4 packs, so this goes for expansion packs, game packs, stuff packs, kits, and even bundles, with the exception of build your own bundle. So again, you can use code SimmarySims at checkout for your The Sims 4 purchases, and that will help support me as a creator. Thank you so much to EA for sponsoring this portion of the video. Now, I did start building these row houses before I got access to For Rent. I currently do have access to it already. I was fortunate enough to be given early access. So maybe you saw those videos. I did do 3 builds in the early access version of the game with just the base game and the expansion pack. So those videos are up on my channel and maybe you've already seen them, but if not, then just know that those are there. And I started building these houses before I got access to it, and now I do. So I actually went in my game and turned these houses into separate units. Of course, at the end of the speed build, I will show you the houses in the game and I'll show you what it looks like with the residential rental lot type and the separate units and stuff like that. So we'll take a look at the houses in game with the For Rent expansion pack enabled. So that's going to be very exciting as well. But yes, these houses are typical Dutch. I was able to put 4 of them in a row here on this lot. We're building in San Sequoia, by the way. This is not the new world that came with the For Rent expansion pack. This is the world that came with the Growing Together expansion pack a while ago. And I just thought that this was such a beautiful lot. We don't really have a world that resembles the Netherlands. I mean, we do have Brightchester, which kind of looks like Amsterdam in a way in some areas of the world, but we don't really have a lot that is the right size to build something this wide. So I actually ended up doing it here in San Sequoia because I thought this lot was so pretty, and yeah, I just thought that it would be fitting here on this lot. So that's what I decided to do. But yes, I actually made them brick. Most houses here in the Netherlands are made of brick, and so are these row houses. And then sometimes you'll see that they have like a small detail of like wood or paneling in the front. So I did that for these houses as well. We have, they're made out of brick, and then we have a small detail in the front with like a wood siding or paneling or whatever you want to call it. And for the rest, I feel like it's typical, and I feel like it definitely resembles the row houses. Let me know if you're Dutch or if you're familiar with row houses in the Netherlands. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you think I did, but I feel like it actually turned out to look pretty good and pretty close. Like, it definitely looks like any Dutch street you will see here in the Netherlands. I feel like it turned out really nice. But yeah, these houses, I actually ended up furnishing 2 of them, which one of them I ended up furnishing in the video, so you'll see that here. And then I furnished a second one on stream. I didn't put that in the video because the video is already so long that I was like, you know what, we'll just furnish one, and then I'll show you the other furnished house at the end when we do a little tour. So I actually ended up furnishing one for a couple of grandparents, and they have grandchildren coming over from time to time, spending the night. So they have a bedroom, like an extra bedroom for their grandkids whenever they come over. And then the other one I furnished for a young family, and you'll see when I show them side by side, you'll see that the grandparents' house is the very old traditional floor plan, a little bit more closed off and definitely not renovated. And then there is the second one that I furnished for the young family, and they renovated the place on the inside. So you'll see that they knocked out a wall to create like a more open floor plan. And their house is just a lot more modern looking in general from the inside, because obviously on the outside they're all pretty much the same. So yeah, they're very symmetrical in that sense. They're very much the same, and they all have the same floor plan. With the exception of the one that I renovated where I knocked down a wall, for example. But what I wanted to do with that was I kind of wanted to show you different ways of how to furnish these houses. If you do end up getting them in your game, or if you do end up downloading them from the gallery and you want to use them and you want to furnish a few of them, or maybe one of them, for your own Sims, you'll have 2 examples, like one of like a more traditional way of furnishing it, and then one more renovated, more modern version of like how to furnish it, if that makes any sense. So I thought that would be fun for you to include. And so I did do all the floor plans for the rest of the houses, so you don't really have to fiddle around with that. But if you wanted to, like I said, renovate it or something, then you can easily go ahead and do that, of course. So all these houses end up having 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, or actually 1.5 bathrooms really, because the downstairs bathroom is just a half bathroom with just a toilet and a sink, so like a powder room, I guess you could call it as well. And then upstairs is a full bathroom. That is very typical here in the Netherlands, especially for like more traditional like row houses like this. I guess you could call them smaller houses, though they end up being pretty spacious in The Sims, but in real life they're not always. Like, usually they're quite, well, not necessarily small, but just like not the biggest houses you've ever seen. And ensuite bathrooms are really not a thing here. Like, it happens in more luxurious homes that are maybe a little bit more spacious. You'll sometimes see that there is like an ensuite to a main bedroom, but for the most part, that is not a thing here. It's not very common, like I said, especially not in these houses. So that is not something I did for these houses either. So we only have 1 full bathroom on the second floor of the house, and then a small half bathroom downstairs, which is something you'll see everywhere. I know in a lot of places, mainly in the US, for the houses or the areas that I have visited over there, it's not always very common to have an entryway space, but here in Netherlands, every single house has an entryway. Usually when you walk through the front door, you walk into the house into an entryway where you'll find the staircase and also a half bathroom. And usually also like the built-in electricity units or boxes or whatever, you know, like those types of things, you'll find that in the entryway. So you open the front door and there's usually a staircase and a bathroom like right there. And obviously a door into the living room. Sometimes a door into the living room as well as a door into the kitchen when you have a more closed off floor plan, but you never really enter straight into the living room here, which I know is a thing in certain places, certain types of houses in the US, for example. Over here, I've never seen it before. Like, there's obviously going to be exceptions to everything, so there's probably houses here in the Netherlands that do have that, but for the most part, I personally have never seen it before. So yes, there's always going to be an entryway with a half bathroom, and one way, shape, or form is always going to be there. So that is what I did for these houses as well. And then all these houses also have really small little backyards with garden sheds. You can easily get rid of the garden sheds if you want to. Like if you want to have a little bit more space in the backyard, then you can easily get rid of them. But I thought it was such a realistic touch. You'll see that a lot here when you have like the small little backyard and then you'll just see a garden shed, because you are going to need a space to park your bicycle, because in the Netherlands, everybody has a bicycle. If you do not have a bike, then that's odd. Using your bike, like your bike is the way to get around. I mean, yes, obviously we have cars too, but your bicycle is the way to get around. If you need to do some grocery shopping, that is not like for an entire week, but if you just need to like run small errands, you know, like that type of a thing, you'll probably use your bike. So obviously I had to go ahead and park a bunch of bikes because we do have quite a few different types of bicycles now, which is so fun, especially with the arrival of the Growing Together expansion pack. We now also have children's bicycles, which is so much fun. So I parked a whole bunch of those around, lots of bicycles for each house. And then I also actually tooled one. I used the tool mod to put one of the bikes on its side, which I thought was a lot of fun, like a children's bike that kind of fell over, or maybe the kid just kind of put it on the ground that way and maybe it kind of fell over. Like that was a small little detail that I thought was so much fun. But yeah, you'll see that I parked a bunch of bicycles, and then for the rest, I just went ahead and, got started on the little front yards. And this first one that we're doing is for the grandparents. So it's the first one and the only one really that I did on camera. For the screenshots of this house, I actually went through and decorated the rest of the front yards as well a little bit, just so that it's not like super empty compared to the ones that I did decorate. But here we have a really small little area of grass by the front door, which is very common. It's very common for these houses to have like a little bit of a walkway up to the front door, and then there's probably going to be like a small little front yard over there as well, which is what I did for these houses too. And yeah, I just decorated the area by the front door a little bit, and you can see that I parked some bicycles, and I am super excited about how this first house, like interior wise, how it came out. I feel like it looks so cute. It definitely screams grandparents in my opinion, and that's all thanks to this wallpaper that I chose to use. It is a base game wallpaper, and I have never used this wallpaper in this swatch before. I think it looks so pretty. I love how like warm it is. Like it really just like warms up the space. So I ended up using it throughout basically the whole house, and then for the bedrooms, obviously I used some different wallpapers too, and in the kitchen too. But I really enjoy this wallpaper, and this is, by the way, it's not a limited pack build by any means. I use a lot of packs for this one because I just really wanted to go all out and wanted to make it like typical Dutch. And I think that I did a good job. Like, once again, let me know if you're Dutch or if you're familiar with these types of houses, let me know how I did. But this to me feels like home. Like this is a typical house where you'll see them everywhere. Like probably across the street somewhere from me, there is a house that basically looks like this. So yeah, we have a hallway with a staircase, and this is for the grandparents. So they have a more traditional non-renovated floor plan going on here. So there is a door leading into the living room, and then there is also a door leading into the kitchen off of the hallway as well. And then here we have the living room area. Now, this is a house that is on the side, so it's not one of the houses in the middle, but it's on the far left of the row houses. So this house actually has a couple more windows than the middle units do, because obviously this house has like a side that is open to the street. So one side, I had like an extra side to put windows, if that makes any sense. I feel like I'm doing a really bad job at explaining everything today. I don't know, wording things is difficult for me today. I'm really tired, so that's probably why. So I'm so sorry if I'm rambling and if it's not really making any sense at all, but I think I'm doing okay. But yeah, because I had a couple extra windows on the side of the house here, I had a little bit of trouble with placing like the TV unit, because I really don't like putting things in front of a window like that. So I actually put it on an angle, and I actually really like how it came out. I feel like it looks a little bit messy in a good way, and I'm loving the colors here. And we also decided that these people would have a small dog. Actually, one of my friends, who is also a mod over on my Twitch channel, she actually is really good in casts, and she felt so inspired that she actually created the grandparents and the dog living in this house, which I thought was so cool. And when I saw the Sims that she created, I was like, yes, this is exactly the type of family or the type of household that would live here. They have like this small curly dog. Her name is Lucy, and I just thought that it was so perfect. And then we have a grandpa who is into woodworking and fixing things, and like fixing the grandparents or the grandkids' bicycles, like that type of thing. And then we have a grandma who is a little bit more on the creative side of things. She enjoys her knitting and also her macrame and like cross stitching and stuff like that. So she has a little hobby room, because this house does have 3 bedrooms, and we don't really needed 3 bedrooms for this house, especially since I wanted the grandkids to have a shared bedroom for when they come over. So I was definitely thinking that these grandparents look after their grandchildren a lot, and the grandchildren come over to stay the night all the time, like whenever they are off from school or whatever, when they're on a school break. They can come over and spend the night here. They have a full bedroom with toys and everything, like an old toy box that probably belonged to the kids' parents before it basically belonged to them. I mean, it belongs to the grandparents, but you know what I mean. Now the grandkids get to play with the toys in the toy box that before them their parents used to play with, you know, like that sort of a thing. So a lot of hand-me-down type of things, and I just feel like this house really screams grandparents, and I'm very excited about it. There is something about creating cozy, traditional, not as modern-looking spaces that I just really, really enjoy. I also really enjoyed putting down this very 90s or maybe zeros looking stereo or music player. I thought that was so cool. So they have that one sitting in the corner, and a nice little shelf on top with a plant and just a whole bunch of little knickknacks. So I had a lot of fun with it. I also really, really enjoyed using the curtains that I used in here. These are curtains from, I believe, Get Famous, but I might be wrong. I think they're from Get Famous, but they could also be from something else. I'm not exactly sure, but I really liked those curtains. They look so traditional, and just, it makes a lot of sense to have those in here. And I was so happy about these pillows. These pillows really brought the space to life. These throw pillows, they're from the Modern, was it called Modern Luxe kit? I'm not exactly sure if I'm remembering that name correctly, but it's from it's one of the more recent kits. And they gave us some throw pillows, which were actually perfect for this house as well. So I could put some throw pillows on the couches. And then here off of the living room space, you'll see that we have an archway leading into the dining room. And then for the more modern version of this house that I furnished off camera, that I will obviously show you later, you'll see that I knocked down all these walls. So the kitchen, dining, and living are more like one big space, like one big open space, open floor plan situation, which actually works really nicely as well. But for this type of a house for grandparents, I felt like it would make a lot more sense to not have it all renovated and new and opened up. So it's a little bit more closed off. which gave me the opportunity to make it look a little bit more cozy and a little bit more cluttered. And maybe it's not necessarily very messy, but it's definitely cluttered. Like, these people have collected a lot of stuff through the years, basically. And there's just a lot of stuff and like maybe some heirlooms and things like that scattered throughout this house as well. And I was really enjoying this dining room too. I thought it was so cute. It looks a little bit busy with the wallpaper and then the rug that also has like a little thing going on, like a little print going on, basically a pattern, but I think it kind of complements each other in a way. It looks messy, but it also like kind of complements each other, I feel like. And then over here we have the kitchen. This is actually one of my favorite floorings when it comes to older houses, kitchens, bathrooms. This linoleum type thing, I think that's the word. I love using this. I don't really use it a lot. I do use it sometimes when I build like trailer homes and things like that that are a little bit older looking. I really enjoy using this linoleum, but I used it in this house in the kitchen too, and I thought it was so perfect. So I had a lot of fun with that. And then I used these base game kitchen counters and these base game appliances. And then we actually decided to decorate the fridge a little bit. So I got rid of a couple of walls so that I was actually able to stick some like postcards on the fridge, and then also some drawings and some little crafty crafts that the grandkids probably made when they were here. I thought it would make so much sense to put a couple of those things on the fridge. Like, the grandparents would obviously save those and show them off. So I thought that was really cute. And then I also put laundry in the kitchen. That is something that you'll see here. I know that is not all that common everywhere, but it is common here to have laundry in the kitchen when you don't have a dedicated laundry room or laundry space. It is pretty normal to have the laundry in the kitchen. So that's what I did for this one. And then for the renovated house, like for the younger family, I actually ended up putting the laundry on the landing, which is also a thing that's very common here. If you're living in a house that is not very spacious, or you don't have the room for like a completely like dedicated laundry room, it's pretty common to, like I said, either have it in the kitchen or on the landing. You'll just like create some sort of like a closet or a little nook, either like built in or not, to have like a little area on the landing for your laundry machines. Also, I think this has changed over the past few years, but it's not super common to have a dryer here. It is way more common to hang your clothes to dry, either outside or inside. Obviously for The Sims, it's nice to have a dryer, so I put a dryer in. But I think that over the years that has changed a little bit. As I was building this house on stream, I was talking to some of my friends who were in the chat who are also Dutch, and they're like, yes, I actually do have a dryer. I didn't used to have one. Like, I didn't grow up with a dryer in the house, but these days I do have one because the technology has changed or evolved a lot, you know, like, so it's more common these days to have a dryer in the house. But I did not grow up with a dryer, and I also don't have one at the moment. Like, my house is tiny. I have a house that has the space for like 3 ants and me. So my house is really small, and I barely have space for a laundry machine, let alone a dryer. So I do not have that. I do actually hang my clothes to dry, which is annoying. That actually takes up more space than a dryer would, but it's like different. I kind of like scatter my laundry throughout the house. I have different little areas where I put up a line to dry my clothes. It's a whole thing. It's really annoying. I wish I had a dryer, but I do not have one. Maybe someday, hopefully. But you'll see that we have moved on to the second floor, and here we have a small landing area that I basically just turned into storage. So I merged a couple of wardrobes together. I thought that was nice. And then I put a couple of broken chairs here in the corner by the staircase. Those chairs are from the, what's it called? The basement, grungy basement, whatever basement kit. So those are from the basement kit, and I think they're so cool. They're broken, and we thought it was perfect to tell the story that Grandpa was going to actually fix those chairs because he is really very much into woodworking and like fixing things. So maybe Grandpa is going to actually take those chairs down to his shed in the backyard and actually fix them there, which I did not actually decorate the backyard on camera, but I did do that off camera. So of course, in a little bit here, I will jump into the game and I will show you the houses in real time. Like I mentioned already, you'll also get to see the modernized version of this house. And I'll also show you the backyard and how it works with turning these houses into separate units with the For Rent expansion pack installed. So that's a lot of fun. But here we have the grandparents' bedroom, and I'm loving the color scheme in here. I used a wallpaper from the Paranormal Stuff pack with a like flowery pattern in the white and gray swatch, and I think it looks so good. It definitely like freshens, like brightens up the space in here, and I used a lot of the darker brown wood tones and then some like washed out pinks for like the bedding and stuff. And I just think it turned out really, really cute. And then here, this is the second bedroom in the house, which is pretty spacious. And I turned it into a shared grandkids bedroom here. And I really wanted to try and make it a typical grandkids bedroom at grandparents' house, basically like that sort of a vibe. So very colorful, but definitely very old items. So these beds, I mean, they're not technically old, but they kind of resemble like an old bed frame. And then they have like these checkered linens on the bed. And we put like a really old dollhouse and this really old toy box to really resemble the fact that the toys in here are very old and the grandkids' parents probably used to play with it when they were little. And maybe even the grandparents before that, like who knows? There's probably some really, really old toys in here, like all kinds of toys from the 80s and 90s, maybe, you know, like added in here. I thought that was really cute. And yeah, I just scattered around some toys on the floor. There's a lot of space to play in this bedroom, which I thought was really nice for the kids because they do have to share it. So it's nice to have a little bit of space. And then over here, we have another room that you could easily turn into a bedroom, of course, but I turned it into a little hobby space, mostly for grandma, because grandpa has his shed in the backyard. And so grandma has this office space or hobby room where she can like do her knitting or do her painting. I actually put an easel in here as well, so I thought that was really cute. I also put in a computer that maybe, I don't know, maybe grandma runs like an Etsy shop or something where she sells her creations, her little paintings or her knitted little items. Maybe that is something that grandma would be into, and she's also into cross stitching. I thought that was really cute. And for the rest, this room is just very colorful. I really, really enjoy how it turned out. We have a couple of different knitting baskets scattered throughout the house. I also put one downstairs, so you can easily go ahead and put those in your Sims inventory so they can use them everywhere. So I thought that was really cute. And yeah, I just decorated this room with a bunch of little knickknacks. And then of course we also have the bathroom. The bathroom is pretty spacious. I'm not used to doing very spacious bathrooms like this one, but I do think it turned out pretty nice. It has a separate tub and shower, which is something that's very common here. Shower tub combinations are definitely not really a thing. I mean, they exist, but you barely ever see them here in the Netherlands. It's always going to be a separate shower and tub or just a shower, never a shower tub combo. But that is pretty much it for this house. So let's jump into the game and I'll show you the row houses in real time. So here we have the Dutch row houses in the game. One of my favorite features here is all the bicycles. That is so realistic and I just put them everywhere. I mean, maybe I went a little bit overboard with the bicycles, but I just really wanted to represent that this is a Dutch street, you know? So when we jump into build mode, you'll see that I actually turned it into a residential rental, and you'll see that I put all these different units. So we have 4 units total. And when I toggle on the unit outlines, you'll see all these different colors. So you can kind of see it from above here. We have blue, pink, yellow, and purple, I think. I'm not exactly sure. It's not really showing up this one. Oh yeah, purple. You can see it right here. And as you can also see, I furnished this first one and I furnished the third one. And then these 2 are empty. I like to toggle off the unit outlines because it's a little bit much, but obviously you'll need it when you're like assigning the units. It makes a lot of sense to have all that. But when we take a look at the first unit, which is this one, this is the one we furnished on camera. So we have this really cozy entryway space leading you into the hallway, front door area with a bunch of knickknacks and an area to hang your coat, of course. And then all the way in the back here is a half bathroom with just a sink and a toilet and a door leading into the kitchen. But then first off over here, we have the living room space, which I think turned out very cozy. It is pretty cluttered. We have some games and things. I like to imagine that the grandkids are maybe staying over right now, or they were just here, so there are some games out. There are some books, a knitting basket, a little bed for the dog, a bookcase over here, and then through this archway is the dining room. So in the dining room, we have a 6-seater table. I put a tea tray out here, which I think is so cute. And then we have the bowls for the dog, of course, some china cabinets over here, and then through this archway over here, you kind of go into the kitchen. The kitchen's really spacious. It is a very nice size for a kitchen for a row house. You barely find them this big, I feel, but yeah, I just really like how it looks, especially with this little dishwasher. I think it just looks really good. It really looks like they put this in later. Here's their fridge and their stove. They have a small breakfast table over here, and then the laundry as well. And then when we go upstairs, we have the landing, which just has a bunch of storage, as you can see, and then the grandparents' bedroom. I am obsessed with this color scheme. I really enjoy it. The blue and the soft pinks and the browns, I just feel like it's very soft and nice. They have these built-in wardrobe units, and then a tiny dresser with a mirror in the corner, and then obviously this makeup table as well. Next to the grandparents' room is the bathroom. I did clutter this one up a little bit more off camera, so there's a nice sink here with some storage, a toilet over here, and then a tub in the corner, and some more clutter over here on this little unit. Over here is the grandkids' bedroom. I really like how this one came out as well. There's just a bunch of toys here, some storage, a nice dollhouse in the corner. I love this one. It looks really old, which is perfect. And then their beds, of course. So some nice space to play here. And then over here is grandma's hobby room, which also is quite cluttered. I think it looks very cozy. They have an old computer, some bookcases, and a place to do some painting. This is where they store their knitting, crafting, little items. And of course, we have to have a rocking chair because it is a grandparent's house. So I put a rocking chair in here. And then over here is their backyard. So I put in some flower boxes or some planter boxes. They have a nice dining table here, some activities for the children, and also a clothesline because like I said, maybe they didn't always used to have a dryer, or maybe in the summertime when the weather is nice, they still like to hang their clothes to dry. Over here is grandpa's shed where I just put a woodworking bench and some countertops to resemble storage. But you can obviously turn this into anything you want. Like you could even turn it into a gym or something like that if you wanted to. But then when we go to the second house I furnished, you'll see that this one is completely different. They also have a nice like pathway, of course, leading up to the front door. And I put a picnic bench. It's really small, but I kind of like how it looks here in the front yard. And then you'll see that this floor plan is completely, well, it's not completely different, but I just knocked down some walls. It's a modernized version, basically. So they have that same entryway space, except they put in large folding doors here, which is really trendy here at the moment. So I think that that makes a lot of sense. They have some built-in storage here in the hallway. And then there is no longer a door into the kitchen, but there is a door into a half bathroom over here. So you'll see that this one's a little bit more modern compared to the grandparents' one. And then over here is their living room space. I think this turned out really nice. They have a nice frame TV over a fireplace here. And yeah, I guess it just kind of speaks for itself. It's a lot more modern compared to the grandparents' house. They have some toys here behind the couch. And my favorite feature of this house is the cat tree in the corner. I thought it was so perfect. So yeah, they have a little cat tree here. And then over here is their more modernized kitchen. So I used the counters from the Home Chef Hustle pack, which are naturally very modern. And I think this kitchen's very cozy. And they also have a nice large 6-seater dining table over here. They do have a toddler, so I put in a high chair, and they have a bunch of bookcases over here. And then upstairs, the floor plan is basically the same. I didn't really change anything here, but these people do have their laundry on the landing over here, which I think is nice. And then they have a modernized bathroom over here with a walk-in shower that I created. That is something that's very common here for more modernized bathrooms. You'll see walk-in showers. So that's something that I did. And then they have a nice corner tub because I did need to fill up the space here in this big bathroom. Then a sink and some knickknacks as well, of course. And then over here is the parents' room. I'm loving the color scheme in here. It's very neutral, but still like a touch of color here and there. They have those same built-in wardrobes and then a dresser with some clutter over here on the side. And over here is the toddler's room. I think this one turned out really nice. I did put an extra built-in storage unit over here, so maybe they added that in later. And for the rest, there's just a whole lot of space to play for the little one in this room. I also put a changing table in here and this beautiful mural. So this is a really cute little toddler's room. And then they have a baby on the way. So I was thinking that they're still working on the nursery. So they just have a couple furniture items in here for now, and they're still working on the nursery. I thought that was a cute story to tell. And then down in their backyard, they have this nice umbrella table. These chairs, by the way, are new. These are from the For Rent pack, and I thought they were perfect. So these plastic chairs, and they have some plants over here and some items for the toddler to play with in the backyard. And then I left their shed empty because I wasn't sure what to do with it. Maybe you want to turn it into like a gym, but yeah, I just left it empty for now. And then the other two units are empty, so you can have your Sims move in here as soon as the For Rent expansion pack comes out. I mean, you can do it right now already, but when the pack comes out, you'll actually be able to place it down as a residential rental, and then you can use it in your game. So these Dutch row houses are up on the gallery. I used a whole bunch of packs also for rent, so maybe you want to wait with downloading it until you get the pack, but there is also an unfurnished version of these builds on the gallery, which is this one, and this one uses a whole lot less packs because all the units for this one are unfurnished. I just did the exterior. So yeah, if you want to download these houses completely unfurnished and empty, then there's a version of that on the gallery as well. But that's gonna do it for today's video, so I really hope that you enjoyed this one. You can obviously go ahead and download it off the gallery like I just showed you. My username on the gallery is Simmary Sims. You can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok if you'd like. My username on there is Simmary Sims as well. If you're not subscribed to my channel already, feel free to do so, and if you want to be notified of every single time I upload a video, just click that little bell icon and you should be fine. I also live stream over on Twitch a few times a week, so if you're interested in that, go ahead and give me a follow over on twitch.tv/SimmarySims. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!